Spirit in a couple hours, I think. Don't I? Asking for the collect. This one's gonna hurt a little bit, I think, in the end, but it's going to be informative and worth it. So we're going to talk about perceived value. And I want to use an inanimate object rather than a person, but it's going to help you relate to the world. Actually, no. We're going to do the perceived value of homelessness in this country. Right now, its perceived value is as a political talking point. That is why homelessness exists in this country. Okay. Now, inside of the homeless community, there is a different set of values that you can never perceive because your perception is skewed by way of the political value of homelessness. Me, I'm an entrepreneur. I teach financial literacy. You would think in my eyes there would be no perceived value to homelessness, i.e., there would not be anything good in being homeless. I've always known that to be an untruth rather than a truth, a fallacy, a false reality. The reality is that the majority of the homeless community who did not end up out here due to financial constraints is rent free, close to or debt free, has no outstanding bills. There is no debt collector to call my phone and keep me from wanting to answer it. Okay. Now, is there a value in that for you? Because as an entrepreneur, there is a whole lot of value in the amount of time freed up, not worrying about who I got to pay and how I'm going to get them paid. I don't believe in debt. I don't believe in credit because it turns to debt. Let's clarify the difference. Credit is built on your name, your organization, or that of another human being. Debt is what you go into when you get credit, or you can't, and you have to take out a loan from a shark, and they charge you three times the interest, and that's usury in Islamic culture. It's also against the law, but we have a way around it called payday loans, which is why military people specifically are not allowed to take out military payday loans. When caught doing so, they are counseled, they are put into a budgeting class, and they should be, though they are not, they should be monitored for the next 6 months to a year to keep them from going back into said debt. The government realized that one of these issues, well, back in the 2000s, was that people were not getting enough money for food. Rather than adjust the institution accordingly, they allowed military people to get EBT. And then when they realized that they were getting EBT, they just added $500 to certain E1 to E5, not allowing them to get EBT anymore, also skewing the money when it comes to those E6 and above. Because now they're having to fend for themselves when those below them aren't. And the ones below them are side eyeing it a little bit like, well, if you can negotiate this, what else can't you negotiate? Perceived value in the thing. When we look at the United States president today and the war in Iran, his dealings with Qatar, can he negotiate a deal or is he being placated? Now, mind you, to someone who wrote a book titled The Art of the Deal. So we're talking about business and perceived value. What value have you gotten out of his deals when it comes to being president of this country? See how I said it might sting a little bit? It'll help give you a concrete understanding, though, of why it is you should or should not vote. if you know that the vote doesn't represent you, you know the president doesn't represent you, there's no value there for you. Why are you continuing to do what undervalues you? Why don't you value yourself enough to demand more from the people you put in office? See? Why do you feel so unpretty as to allow that man to shit on you constantly? And you say nothing by way of continuing to give him the authority to do so. What part of being an American citizen do you value enough to stop him from continuing to be president of this country? Or is it more like you're in alignment with his underlying perception of the value of humanity, homelessness, and you at this moment in history? Is it possible that he sees you, me, the homeless community, and blackness as all the same thing, worth nothing more than a political argument? And since he can't win it, he's not in it to win it. He's in it to gain money, status, culture. Now, whose culture is he trying to get in with, ladies and gentlemen, if it's not the American citizen? Ask yourself that and determine whether or not it's time to ask for a different president. Can I get a witness? Amen. Peace.